Want to begin with live pictures out of London. St. Thomas's Hospital in London. That's the very hospital where the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was treated for coronavirus during the first wave. Of course, now the world well into the second wave, and today, as the world responds to the pandemic, a very big moment. The UK is the first Western country to start vaccinating people against the coronavirus. It's the first in the world to begin mass inoculations with the Pfizer vaccine. And here is the first person in line to get it.
Just going to be squeezing your arm, okay?
Okay.
Relax your arm for me. Just relax. All done. All done.
Margaret Keenan there, having her sleeve rolled up and getting the jab, as they call it in the UK. 6:31 Greenwich Mean Time, 1:31 in the morning Eastern Time, and you can see the cameras and the flashes popping as reporters from around the world captured that moment. Here's another nice moment. Staffers at the University Hospital in Coventry saluting the 90-year-old grandmother as she headed out. You can't see the smile, but you know it's there under her mask. Margaret Keenan, the first in the world, outside of clinical trials, of course, to get the Pfizer vaccine. Our coverage begins live in London with Cindy Palm. And Cindy, let's talk more about that big moment. There's a lot of emotion among health officials in the UK about now the vaccine program beginning. They're calling it V-Day there, I understand, a very significant turning point.
A very significant turning point indeed. Good morning, Heather. Margaret, this was an early birthday present for her as she turns 91 next week, and she spoke out after getting the shot. Take a listen.
Now I've done it, and hopefully it'll help other people to come along and do as I did. You know, try and do the best to get rid of this terrible thing.
She will have to return to her local hospital in central England to get a second shot because the Pfizer vaccine does require 2 shots 3 weeks apart. And all across the UK, people are getting vaccinated. We've also heard from the second person to get the vaccine. He is 81 years old, and his name is William Shakespeare. Take a look.
Groundbreaking, I think. It could make a difference to our lives from now on, couldn't it?
So most people, though, will only be getting vaccinated in the new year. They're focusing on the elderly right now, as well as frontline healthcare workers. The UK has ordered enough vaccines to vaccinate about a third of the population. There are other vaccines that are awaiting a regulatory approval, but this, Heather, is seen as really a watershed moment as there appears to be a plan that is being rolled out to finally get rid of the coronavirus.
Cindy, I do want to carry on with you, but I can't help but stop and just talk for a moment about the William Shakespeare thing. They could not have found a patient with a better name, the second to receive that. William Shakespeare, there he is, 81. And the headline writers are having just a field day with this, taming of the flu, as they say. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be a comedy of errors, this whole program. But interestingly, from his niece, a tweet about this. Let's pull that up. His niece, Emily, writing, "That's my lovely uncle you're talking about. And at some point, he'd like to see his wife, children, and grandchildren who can't visit him at the moment. A very worthy recipient." Similar sentiments we got from Margaret Keenan, I know, Cindy, as she said, hopefully with this vaccine, and of course she has a second shot to come, but hopefully with immunity in time, she'll be able to see loved ones as well. She's been on her own for the better part of the year, as so many have. She was very keen to roll up that sleeve. Some people not so much. There's a real concern about vaccine hesitancy and a lack of trust. The UK addressing that head on this morning, Cindy.
That's right. Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited a hospital here in England, urging people to get the shot because of the concern of the government that a lot of people will refuse to do so as it is not mandatory. Take a listen to what he said.
There are those obviously who feel that a vaccine is something they object to politically or for ideological reasons or for medical reasons, I think they're totally wrong. I know that there are loads of people who count themselves anti-vaxxers. That's totally the wrong approach. It's safe, it's the right thing to do. It's good for you and it's good for the whole of the country.
He does stress as well that this rollout is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. As I mentioned earlier, most people will not get vaccinated until the new year. So in the meantime, social distancing measures will have to be in place. But there now appears to be a timeline too, because the UK Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, said that he hopes life will start to return to normal by spring and finally bring this pandemic to an end. Heather.
Cindy, thank you. Live in London as the world focuses on what is happening in the UK today.